Startup sales, organizing the sales function and closing transactions in a startup company. A sale is the consummation of a revenue-generating transaction, and the sales team usually acts as the interface with the customer. The sales team has a responsibility for maximizing sales revenues. Some companies, such as those in business-to-business industries, are heavily sales-oriented. Revenues are highly dependent on the sales team. Other companies, such as those in business-to-consumer industries, are less reliant on sales and other forms of marketing activities, such as e-commerce websites, are sufficient to generate sales orders from customers. Sales in a startup company presents special challenges. Before attempting to generate sales orders from customers, management has to ask itself, is the product ready to sell? Is the company ready to deliver and service customers? Are the customers ready to buy from a new, untested company? Established companies with proven products and track records of customer service often have an advantage over fresh new startups when it comes to closing sales. Sales activities are a waste of time if the company or the product are not yet ready. Sales staff are an expensive idle overhead until the company has a product to sell. Before hiring sales staff, you need to make sure the product or service is ready for deployment with a real live customer. You need lists of target customers. You'll likely need business cards, brochures and collateral materials, and a professional company website is sometimes necessary to help establish credibility with customers. You might want to have your sales contracts prepared by your lawyers, a remuneration package ready to offer new candidates, and a sales tracking and administration system to monitor individual sales performance and track progress. In the seed and early stage, a dedicated sales team is an unnecessary luxury for a startup, and initial sales are generated by the founders, the CEO, engineers, and everyone in the company often plays a role. When it comes to the expansion stage and beyond, the company generally has a dedicated sales team acting as the interface with the customer, under the direction of specialist sales managers. As we'll see a little later on, independent third-party agents can represent the company and generate sales on a freelance basis. It's the role of sales managers to build a sales pipeline and provide some predictability of future company revenues. Sales management constructs the sales organization, sets goals for the team and individual sales representatives, establishes the sales support structure, defines activities and responsibilities for sales and sales support staff. Sales managers have responsibilities to recruit, educate, motivate, empower, incent and reward the sales representatives. The officers and board of directors look to the sales management team to deliver sales revenues and provide reliable forecasts necessary for realistic business planning. There are various ways of organizing a sales team and dividing up the sales territory. The sales team can be organized by product range. One individual or team can have responsibility for a particular product or product range. For complex high-tech products requiring specialist technical sales expertise that takes time to acquire, assembling a product specialist sales team can be highly effective. Where the customers are located all over the country and face-to-face meetings are highly effective, organizing the sales team by geography is quite common. Large sales teams are often divided into territories based on state or city boundaries. Where a product or service to be sold has applications in different industries, the sales force can be divided by customer type. A salesperson with specialist skills or access to particular types of customers can exclusively focus on selling to those customers. The team is essentially organized by field of use. One sales team may be dedicated to selling into the medical sector, where another team specializes in selling the same product into the telecommunications sector. Various components of the team and combinations of skills and capabilities must be assembled to have maximum impact and effect. One person may be responsible for researching the market, identifying potential customers, and generating leads. Another team member may be responsible for making cold calls. Presenting the company and demonstrating the product may be a specialist role requiring a dedicated person. The successful sale of complex, high-tech products often requires answering technical questions and proving that the product leads to certain results in certain conditions. These types of companies often have sales engineers dedicated to working with customers and supporting the sales efforts. The organization needs to be capable of closing transactions and getting the customer signature on sales contracts. Closing is usually the responsibility of the sales representative, but often involves the support of the sales manager and can sometimes require a specialist member of the team. Sales positions are compensated with a base salary, commissions on sales generated, bonuses based on quarterly or annual performance, and non-financial incentives such as awards and prizes. In a cash-strapped, revenue-hungry, high-technology startup, the base salary is generally relatively low. Commissions are relatively high, bonuses and prizes are not usually important, but stock options are very common and create an incentive for entrepreneurial sales reps to join a startup rather than work in a large corporation. Technology-oriented startup companies lacking the budget to hire in-house sales teams sometimes engage with freelance third-party sales agents who represent the company and sell the products on a commission-only basis. The advantage is clearly to avoid payroll costs by hiring in-house sales employees. Freelance sales agents also enable the company to reach a wider audience, provide experienced sales staff, and leverage established relationships with customers. There are some disadvantages. A third-party independent sales representative may lack focus and commitment that you would gain from an in-house sales team. Generally, these reps are selling products from multiple clients and are representing several companies at the same time. As they're freelancers, the lack of control can be problematic for companies wishing to carefully manage the customer relationship. Legally, an agency is a special form of relationship involving an agent acting on behalf of a principal with legal authority to bind the principal to contractual obligations. Appointing an agent can create some liability unless you specify that the agent's authority is limited and communicate this to the client. See the slideshows on agency for more information on this topic. There are a number of approaches to selling. One of the most simple is to focus on price and justify the sale by comparing it to higher price competition. Of course, this only works where the company has sustainable cost advantages and is capable of making a profit by being the lowest cost player in the sector. Rather than focusing on the product features, some sales teams focus on the benefits of the product to the customer. Selling the sizzle rather than selling the steak is a sales technique that has endured the ages. For complex high-tech products, many organizations adopt a consultative selling approach. Consultative selling emphasizes customer needs and meeting those needs with solutions combining products and/or services. A consultative salesperson typically provides detailed instructions or advice on which solution best meets the client's needs. The salesperson must have the skills to listen to the customer, understand their needs, and provide the best matched solution. Sales prospects today often ask for evidence that the purchase decision represents a positive return on investment. As a result, many high-tech companies deploy a sales approach that involves quantifying the costs, quantifying the benefits, and showing how the benefits outweigh the costs in order to justify the sale. There are many ways of communicating with customers, some more effective than others, and some more costly than others. An email message is very inexpensive, but doesn't engage the customer as much as a more expensive phone call. Seminars and other one-to-many in-person presentations can be highly engaging, but are somewhat costly in terms of investment in time as well as other resources. There's no replacement for face-to-face, one-on-one meetings, but the costs associated can be substantial when time, travel costs, and all the different factors are taken into consideration. New internet-based sales activities like web conferencing can engage customers in presentations and demonstrations without requiring visits to their offices, and the costs can be comparable to phone calls. Some companies find phone calls to be the most effective, while others rely on face-to-face meetings. Sales usually involve all these activities, and finding the right combination for any particular startup usually takes experience and experimentation. Traditionally, sales representatives were armed with product samples, presentation materials, customer testimonials, expense accounts to wine and dine their clients, and sales contracts ready to receive the customer's signature. The sales tools for the modern high-tech startup now include the company website, online videos, and webinar presentations. Customers can be identified and contacted via online lists from companies such as ZoomInfo, Hoover's Spoke, and social networking sites such as LinkedIn. Customer relationship management systems such as Salesforce.com and Zoho today provide salespeople with tools for contacting clients, tracking progress, and monitoring results. There have been many new tools and resources made available to sales managers in recent years. CRM, Customer Relationship Management, has been a huge area of development, and several software companies have grown successfully by catering to the needs of sales teams. Shared collaborative sales administration tools such as Salesforce.com are now web-based, in the cloud. This means the tools are available to sales staff located anywhere they have an internet connection. CRM systems allow you to upload sales leads and target customer databases, share sales leads, track the pipeline of sales transactions, and monitor activity. The systems are often available for monthly per-user fees, so a small company with a small number of staff pays a fraction of the cost of a large company employing a large team. Startup companies present special challenges when it comes to sales. Even the best sales team can struggle to deliver results when the product is not ready to sell or is unable to compete with offerings from large established players, or the company lacks ability to deliver support required by the customers, or buying from a startup rather than an established competitor represents a substantial risk for the customer. For example, if the product sold by the startup is company-critical software, the customer usually prefers to buy from large, trusted vendors rather than more risky startup companies. Where failure of the product can be particularly costly and reliability of the supplier is critical, a startup company will struggle to compete with an established player, regardless of which product has superior features. Sales representatives in any industry have to overcome objections. but those representing unproven startups often have to prove the company is sufficiently financially secure to survive in the business before they're able to focus on the activity of selling the product. Sales teams and sales pipelines are worthless without closed transactions. There are many techniques, books, and theories regarding the close of the sale. Many are designed to create a sense of urgency, to get the customer to sign the order rather than find an excuse for delay. Effective salespeople start the closing process early in the customer relationship, often mapping out a route to closing with the customer. Whatever technique is used, and whatever charm and influence is used to encourage the order to be placed, a negotiation is not an order until the contract is formed, and an order is not a sale until the cash is in the bank. As in any company, closing sales is a critical function for a high-tech startup.